So why tread a path that you know will lead you nowhere? Maybe. Otherwise, rent ceiling will have addressed that issue of higher rents. I think fundamentally what this law is talking about is just to say, okay, well, you can charge whatever you want. It's a contractual issue, but don't demand too much from the tenant.
Again, the question arises, how, if you're saying you can charge whatever you want, what is too much?
No, too much now means that, okay, don't demand 1 year, 2 years, 3 years.
Okay, so if a man now says, okay, as the example I gave you, the man comes up and says, okay, since I wanted to take 2 years, that would have been like 800,000 for 2 years. Now give me 800,000 and stay 1 year. What stops him?
100,000 and stay 1 year? I don't
800,000
for a year.
Or pay 600,000 and stay 1 year. As pay 600,000.
You see, it's contractual. If you are willing, go
Is
ahead.
there a law against leaving buildings empty?
No, there can be a law. You can't legislate people.
There's no legislation to that effect.
You can't legislate.
You're a lecturer in the building department, right?
Faculty of Law.
Faculty of Law.
Yeah.
Property law. Now, what happens? Do you know the value of a building when it's allowed to stay empty for several years?
Yeah.
Does it go up or does it drop?
No, you see, ordinarily, property appreciates. Ordinarily. Because, you see, when the property is initially put there, some infrastructural developments might be lacking. By the time those one comes up, the value of the property in that environment will have, irrespective, even vacant land, and not even say developed property, vacant land appreciates.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes.
You know, we'll talk about law. Nyota, you know, if I'm a tenant, and I don't feel comfortable paying 6 months because I'm not too sure of the future, and I have the money now, and I go to my landlord and say, landlord, I'm paying you a year rent or 2 years rent as against 6 months rent that a sitting tenant should pay.
Yeah.
Just in case I don't get the money in the future, but I have it now and I'm paying more than enough. Will I be flouting that law?
Ordinarily, yes, but it takes two to tango. You see, laws are there and they will remain paper. They will remain black and white in the books if not enforced. And how do we enforce law? Somebody must have complained. If there's no complainant, then the law will just stay there. We have law on a ban on public smoking in Nigeria, but nobody ever complains about that. We go around and everybody keeps on poofing here and there.
But it's not until you complain before you're caught, because if you're seen smoking in the public place, a police officer, you can get arrested.
When the police officer will even tell you, can I have a light?
Really? No, but for those who are advocating, for those who somewhat criticize this law, what kind of point will they have if, since the State Assembly provided an opportunity for a public hearing, so everyone who had any issue whatsoever had the opportunity to make their case. So if they don't make their case at that point, what justification will they have to kick against it when it becomes a law?
Well, I don't see, if you want to kick against the law, it's at your own detriment, of course, because the law will take its course.
Okay. Now, why is this law? Why would the law be selective? That was where I was going to. In this case, now we have some areas of Lagos that are not affected by this law. Why is the law being selective?
Well, that is some of the problems that we have always been facing when it comes to this issue of tenancy law. You see, I think I'm putting myself in the shoes of the rich. I think maybe they have this belief that, okay, the rich man can take care of themselves. Okay, if you want to live in Parkview, yes, you should be able to afford it. So it's a choice area. But if you are talking of Shomolu, Bariga, then this is where we have the masses. They should be protected. I think that is the philosophy. They are trying to put forward. But unfortunately, it is segregatory.
Really?
Yeah, it is. Because that means that if you are a developer in the Shomolu and all these other axes, then the return on your investment is pegged. Why those developers in the VI and these eyebrow areas, you go home smiling. In 2, 3, 4 years, they have recouped their investment. While you in the suburbs, we have to wait till 20, 25 years before you get yours. So to that extent, the law is segregatory. If you want to regulate, if you believe that, okay, they are charging too much or the rent is too high, then there should be a blanket legislation.
But from the challenges you've seen now, in terms of the previous ones, which you say this is not exactly new, but some improvements have been made about this one, and there are those who are already complying. So don't you think it's a question of time before everyone just keeps into
definitely. Ordinarily, you see, before we can do a real critique of a law, apart from its letters, the black and white letters of that law, we have to see the implementation and the effectiveness of that law before you can do a good critique. So, to that extent, time will tell whether others or people will comply ordinarily with the provisions of this law, or we refuse to abide by it.
But from what you've seen,
yes, from my own observation, I don't see it as much of a problem for a tenant or for a landlord to take 6 months or to take even 1 month. Except, of course, you are talking of developers who obtain bank loans and what have you to develop their properties. You are talking of individuals who put all their investment or deposit together to. It is even a better approach for you to take quarterly, biannually, because with that you'll be assured of some income at a particular period of time. Unlike when you just take 1 year in one fell swoop, and before you know it, the economy will just take the thing away from you. So I think it's even a better approach. Even take monthly. You can be sure that even if you are tied financially, by the end of the month, okay, 3 or 4 tenants are coming to pay. Then you smile. Something like that.
But since the value always appreciates, they shouldn't have any cause to worry. Whether you can take 6 months or 1 year, your property is your property, it will always be there for you. So what's the rush?
Well, the people want to, you see, I think the problem is more than just looking at it the way we are doing. The problem is more fundamental. Fundamental in the sense that our government has failed totally, in absolute terms, that's my own view, at providing the necessary life-saving infrastructure or life-improving infrastructure for the citizen. Therefore, the quest by the citizen to always try to get something to prepare himself for later in life. Otherwise, I don't see, if you have a house, if you have just a 3-bedroom of your own, I don't see the need